I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Ha-Rakah, Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone wow, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom, Ba-Abba-Ba. So this is Psalm 137. It says in the subtitle, An Experience of the Captivity, which Israel was never to drink of the captivity. It says in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 21, ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord, which we're supposed to be drinking from, and the cup of the devils, which now we are in captivity, and you have to participate in this devil's bullshit. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of devils. See? So we were supposed to drink from the cup of the Lord and not from the cup of the devil, which now we're drinking from the cup of the devil, which we're in slavery. All right. But we were never supposed to drink of that cup. All right. But now that we have, all right, they're going to have to drink of the cup. Now, also, as it says, they're going to drink down. Oh, let me get it. Here it is. In Obadiah, verse 15, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion, which all the heathen are going to go into slavery under the Israelite, but the Edomite is going to be as they have not been. They're going to be made extinct. And the Edomite is the so-called white race, aka Caucasians. But upon Mount Zion, the Israelite, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian, which been scattered throughout the world in slavery, shall be deliverance. This is why we're speaking about Yahushai. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, which we're speaking the truth. And the house of Esau for stubble, because they're troubled at us standing upon our feet, speaking in truth. And they shall kindle in them, we're being gathered together in the name of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. All right. So we were brought here to condemn Esau and his kingdom, America. It says in Psalm 137, verse 1, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion, which we're remembering ourselves today in the modern Babylon, America. But King David is prophesying about Ezekiel. And he was in Babylon, and he was prophesying. Let me see, I'll go back to that Psalm 137 and I'll cross-reference that. So cross-reference to Ezekiel 1 verse 1, now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives, which Ezekiel was among the Israelites in captivity in Babylon, by the river of Chebar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. All right. So he was prophesying. King David was not in captivity. He was the king of Israel. All right. So he's prophesying of what was going to happen to the Israelites. They were going to be taken out of Jerusalem, the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom went first, and then the southern kingdom went into captivity in Babylon. All right. It says in verse 2, we hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof, for there they carried us away captive, required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, right? And this is why America is spiritual Babylon. This is what they do to us, right? If you watch that movie 12 Years of Slavery, the slave was sleeping, and then the drunk Edomite, the so-called Caucasian, the slave master went over there and woke him up and said, get up, dance, all drunk, right? Look at all the Hollywood, right? All the music business, it's with Jake, all right? It says, required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth. And that's why they don't want you protesting, because they want you to be happy that they're fucking you up. You so-called Caucasians are the wicked that rule the world, and you have the Israelites, the sons of Yahweh, in your possession, all right? And you're going to lose everything over it. It says, sing us one of the songs of Zion. And that's where all this music business came from the gospel music, right? And that's why you had that movie called Sinners. That guy, Sammy, the character Sammy that was singing, all right? In the movie, he came from gospel singing. And even in real life, he started as a gospel singer. Beyonce, Katy Perry, right? They all started to sing gospel music, but then they turned into cross-dressing weirdos, right? It says, how shall we sing Yahweh's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. And that's what happened to Jake. The Israelites forgot that they had come from Israel, all right, and they forgot everything. They forgot everything, all right? And the Holy Spirit brings everything back into remembrance. And why are the people of Israel destroyed? For the lack of knowledge. Because the so-called white race has us in slavery. The Edomites, the red devil, the Bible speaks of. It says in verse 6, if I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. And that's why you got these 2/3 that can't get this truth, because they're going to be destroyed. Their conscience is sealed with a hot iron from the God of this world, the so-called white race, the red devil the Bible speaks of. Psalm 137:7, remember, O Yahweh, the sons of Edom in the day of Jerusalem. When the Assyrians came in and took us captives, the Edomite went in and destroyed our city, who said, raise it, destroy it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, which is a city of Edom, the so-called white race, which is America, who art to be destroyed, that's the prophecy of America. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So as you destroyed our city, right, the Lord's going to destroy your city. It says, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. So you're going to go into slavery under us after the destruction of your city, all right, and we're going to be able to pay you back for what you've done unto us. Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, And we're in captivity, but they're trying to lead us into a new form of captivity using the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So all we're waiting for is what the scriptures say to come to pass. That's all we're waiting for. And what it says is the Lord's going to give you the heathen as our slaves. All right. It says in Revelation 14 and 12, here is the patience. So we're waiting of the saints, the sanctified Israelites, and we're sanctified through the truth. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai, which he's going to give us eternal life, and he's going to give you heathen as our slaves, as after he destroys Babylon the Great, the so-called white city of the world, right? Which really it became a melting pot, a mixed people, and that's why the Lord calls it that in Jeremiah 50. And Psalm 33 says, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the sons of Israel and the sons of Judah were oppressed together, which in America we have been oppressed together, just like we were oppressed together in ancient Egypt. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. So they're refusing to let us go now, just like in the past. The Hamite Egyptian refused to let us go. Now the Edomite Egyptian, the so-called white race that dwells in America, refuses to let us go. All right, which the so-called white race, Esau, Edom, they rule the world today. They are the wicked. That's why the world is in a wicked state. It says, their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, which he's going to pretty much kill a lot of people. And it's killed because it's righteous to free his people. All right. And so that's what it means. Plead their cause, meaning to put them to death for his people. He's going to ransom them for his people, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. And that word disquiet is what? A feeling of anxiety or worry. And that's all I see right now after these, protests kicked off, no king protests, right? It kicked off, and now the city of America is disquieted publicly, and it is in a state of anxiety and worry. And who's doing that? The Lord is. And he's gonna end up pretty much destroying this whole entire city using nuclear missiles. All right, he's gonna put it in the heart of the allies and the enemies to shoot nuclear missiles on America. Babylon the Great, who are to be destroyed. It says in Jeremiah 50, verse 35, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, which America is full of witches, saith Yahweh. Even Elon Musk, he said he's a dark mega, right? Meaning he's a Chaldean. Saith Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, America, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men, a sword is upon the liars, which they lie right now. They're saying they're breaking the streets up with sledgehammers, right? But we know that they're already paid. They're paid to do this. I just saw a video a brother shared, and they're paying these people like $6,500 a week to go protest. See, why would they go home if they're getting paid $6,500 from the government to go protest? So that the government could act like they're saviors and send their military. But really, their plan is war, right? They have peace on their tongue, but war is in their heart, right? It says, a sword is upon the liars, which is nuclear missiles are going to destroy these liars, and they shall dote. A sword, nuclear missiles, is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. So all these so-called mighty men, like that video I said I saw with the woman saying that the government is asking for the strongest people, the toughest people, right? Well, all these so-called tough guys are going to be like women, including your military, all right, all the way up to your so-called Marines, right? Your war dog Marines, which I just showed, and that was the spirit that showed me that they were going to become like women. But then the next day, I got a video. I'll show you it on my YouTube. I recommend you go check it out. But they're telling you that these Marines, this is the one, all right? It says, listen up, paid actors and all protesters, all right? It says, paid actors and all protesters across Babylon this weekend, also in LA riots, which they're going to cause chaos to bring forth that new world order. But then the other one, right? I shared it to my channel. I'll show you. Right here. All right. This show is from Senator Tammy Duckworth. Duckworth slams Donald Trump, right? But the questioning is what? These soldiers are suffering mental illness, okay? They're suffering mental illness. All right? Let me play a little bit for you.
Served in the United States Marines, only for a few years. He was an Army officer for the rest of the time, but that man was a Marine until the day he died. Country, not just in California, see Marines on the streets of America. It risks damaging their trust and politicizing a force that must remain apolitical and mission focused. President Trump is asking Marines to be away from their families for a situation that the president himself said yesterday was, and I quote, this is what he said yesterday, simmering but not very much, end quote. Do you, General, have any concerns about the moral injury of Marines who are now being tasked to face Americans and deploy their community in an unprecedented way? And what are you doing to address those mental health concerns?
Senator, Marines will execute their lawful orders. I don't have any concerns that about their moral damage. They're executing lawful orders that they're trained to do. They're completely confident and they're capable of conducting protection of federal personnel and federal property.
I have no question on.
Which I must point out, they gave him the shoot to kill order, Trump did, but even as an American citizen, you can't shoot someone in protection of property. So he's showing you that this is a hypocritical nation, right? Because, if people cross your property, you can't just shoot them, but unless you're a part of this government, this regime of Edomites, as you can see, this dude, he's red as fuck, right? Because they're not white, they're red. They're the red devil the Bible speaks of.
Their ability to do their jobs. They're Marines, after all. My concern is the psychological injury to Marines who are going to be told to turn on their fellow Americans. We know, and would you agree that there can be hidden injuries such as mental health injuries to Marines, whether they're at war? When you go to war, would you agree that there are hidden injuries that can happen, such as psychological injuries?
There are psychological injuries when one goes to war, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And the psychological injury that these soldiers are going to suffer is they're going to become like women. Their courage is going to flee from them. And in the movie, with the lions that eat the people. All right, so in this movie, The Ghost and the Darkness, which is a true story. All right, the character, this guy here, Michael Douglas, he's supposed to be like the best of the best in hunting, in this movie. and he says once you lose your courage, it's not yours to get back. You better hope for it, but you can't. You're not in control of your courage, is what he said, right? Which this guy, he played as a Jake, right, like a light skinned Jake, and this guy, he was a straight up Edomite, a cunning hunter, right? But there was a difference between them. But he said once you lose your courage, really, it's not, you got to pray that it comes back because you don't control courage. Check out this movie. It's a true story. It's called The Ghost in the Darkness. And what it was the lions were eating these fuckers and their helpers, right? And they said that the belief of the people was that they were demons sent to stop the white man from ruling the world, which he's not white, he's red, all right? It says in Jeremiah 50, verse 37, a sword is upon their horse and upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people, which America is a melting pot, that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. So their soldiers, their mighty men, are going to suffer mental illness and become like women. They're going to lose their courage. A sword is upon her treasures, which is their federal property, right? They got their Federal Reserve, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, which they're going to make the implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As Yahweh's power through Yahweh Shai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh, so shall no man abide there in America, neither shall any son of man dwell there. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy, which they're going to shoot nuclear missiles on America, BRIC nations, and NATO nations. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon, which is Trump, hath heard the report of them, which they know, right? He said the doomsday prophets, which were prophesying what? The nuclear destruction of America. And what are they talking about? Trying to strike Iran because Iran has nuclear weapons. It says, and his hands waxed feeble, anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail, which they are. These leaders are being tormented in their sleep by dreams. They're being visited by angels. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the inhabitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her, and who is a chosen man, that I may appoint over her, for who is like me? Which he's going to set up the elect. And who will appoint me the time, and who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Starting with Yahweh Shai, and then King David and the rest of the elect. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, which is the witches of Babylon. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, the small hat, big-nosed bastards, right, that you know as the Israeli state. They're going to draw them out. They're going to do something that really causes the war, the World War III, to increase. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, which America and Israel are going to be made desolate by fire. All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ha Rakakwadash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abba.